You didn't check IMDb.
It didn't show up on
no?
when I did the search. I guess I could have gone to IMDb and then typed it in.
So I Googled how many Doctor Who's were there, and 13.
13? Okay.
In principle, though, it is generally agreed that there are 13, quote, official doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from ShannonSullivan.com. I don't know if that
I
person's
can
some
almost
kind of expert, but...
I can almost guarantee there are more because there have been like movies and weird...
Well, this one says official
right.
quotes, so
Yeah.
whatever that
'Cause
means.
Personally, I wouldn't think the movies would count. You know,
I saw at
you're
least
looking at the
20
TV
on
shows.
Wikipedia, I think. When they do their breakdown, like sometimes it was like 2 seasons with one doctor.
Well, I mean, who knows what that means, though? Maybe there was one
Maybe the
where
guy
you
came
saw,
back
You saw
or-
someone
yeah, I don't
as a
know.
younger person, like the same person. I don't know.
Doctors could have come back too. I didn't look, but
Yeah.
So-
Good research, Don.
it's not my
work.
It's not my question. You asked the question. You research it.
I did.
Yeah, good job.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right then.
I think we have a new job for him.
Yeah.
Secondary fact checker.
Well, I don't know. We might make you
Relief.
primary.
Relief fact checker.
Just have you and Rachel switch seats.
Hey, that sounds all right to me. A lot less work. Okay. So,
I'll bet he would talk just as much.
well, I try.
Yeah, he would.
Everyone has the right to know my opinion.
He would just take over.
All right, so being that we have a lot of non-sports fans out there listening to us, I thought I'd talk about my annual segment, the NFL Year in Review, because, look, whether you like sports or not, it's out there, and it's the bane of a lot of people's trivia game. You know, it's some people have
Kinda like science and
nature for us, yes, absolutely. But, I mean, how many times do you see
Everyone's
someone...
got one.
I mean, it seems like a lot of teams need a sports guy just to hang sometimes. So
Yep.
let's just go ahead and talk about what happened this year in the NFL. First and foremost,
Billy's rationale for talking about his favorite sport
Yeah.
for the next 20 minutes.
and the easiest
Thank you for
research I've ever
prefacing
had to
that.
do. Easiest research I do all year.
Oh, I bet.
Well, not easiest, but the one
Quickest?
yeah, for sure. So, all right. So the first thing is this was the NFL's 100th season as the NFL. So that's kind of a big thing because it was always 100 all year. You know, making sure that they emphasized that it was the 100th anniversary. So anyway, first thing I want to bring up is the draft, and that was in Nashville, Tennessee this year. Kyler Murray, number 1 overall. He was the only player selected in the first round of both the NFL and MLB. Only player.
That's right.
Because he was selected by the Oakland A's 9th overall in 2018. That was the Cardinals. And it is this draft is the first time that a same school has produced consecutive quarterback number 1 overall picks. That's pretty cool.
And what school was that?
I don't even remember at this point.
University of Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, your typical quarterback school.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So number 2 overall went to the 49ers, Nick Bosa. It was the second time in history that a father, son, and son were all selected in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I can't remember who their father was, but his brother Joey
Mr.
Bosa.
Bosa.
Yeah.
Mr. Bosa, that's right.
Yeah.
And you had Joey Bosa was selected in the first round a couple years ago, and then Nick Bosa this time. Does anyone know the first time that we had father, son, son all in the first round?
Was there a previous father-son?
Peyton Manning.
And Archie?
It was the Mannings. Yep.
Archie and, yeah.
Archie, Peyton, Eli, all taken in the first round.
Also,
Whoa. Then that would be the second time that a father-son son.
Yeah, I said this is
Right.
the second time
Oh, okay.
that a father-son has happened.
Father, son.
Father, son, son. I'm sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
that's
there you
correct.
go.
Next thing, because the whole thing, I'm not going to go too much into a whole lot of things because it's just the bullet points I want to hit. Probably the hardest thing to maybe remember is some key player moves. For quarterback, Nick Foles. He was the MVP in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. He was the guy he was a backup. But every time he went into the starting role when Carson Wentz inevitably got hurt, he just dominated. Mm-hmm. So he was like, okay, so wherever he goes, they might save the franchise. So he ended up going to Jacksonville. That did not go well.
Did not pan out.
He kind of tanked. He got hurt, and then he came back and tanked, and then got taken over by a rookie or a second-year guy. I'm not sure which. I think Gardner Minshew is a rookie, isn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah. And then you had Ryan Tannehill, a forgotten quarterback from Miami, goes to Tennessee and just destroys the league. He just lit that team, lit a new fire on that team.
Right,
Now they're actually relevant again. Going to running backs, Le'Veon Bell, arguably one of the most talented running backs in the league, had this whole thing where he sat out all last year. You're gonna pay me or I'm not playing, and they didn't pay him, so he didn't play. So then he went and got a new contract somewhere else, and he did okay. Not great.
Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy.
That was bad.
LaShawn McCoy went to Kansas City from Buffalo. And Frank Gore, a guy who we're going to talk about here in a little bit, went from Miami to Buffalo. Two huge names at the wide receiver position moved. Odell Beckham Jr., New York Giant phenom, went to Cleveland. And the media circus that is Antonio Brown went from Pittsburgh, traded to Oakland, who then dropped him, and then he went to New England, played a game, and then was dropped again.
And then he went to jail.
And then he was in jail.
Then he apologized for his actions for the year.
So Antonio Brown went through this whole thing. He had frostbite on his feet. He had a whole helmet issue. It was just a media
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Isn't he the one who didn't want to play unless he could wear his own shoes?
Helmet.
It was the
right.
helmet. I can't have my helmet. I don't want to play.
Yeah, and
He didn't have his little special socks to go in his cryo chamber, so he got frostbite instead of going and getting them.
yeah, so Antonio Brown, things did not work out for him. There is pretty widely believed that he's done. No one's going to want him.
He's like a Bond villain. No one wants to touch him now.
Yeah,
he looks like a Bond villain.
He might be done. So, let's see.
What kills me about all this, there'd still be teams that were kissing his butt up one side or the other if he could help them out.
Yeah.
It's all about what you can do for me, and as soon as you can't, you're old news.
And what's
We'll put
wild
up with any behavior, anything you do, legal, illegal, whatever.
Some teams won't.
Very few.
The Patriots won't.
The Patriots will.
Patriots will.
No, they dropped him as soon as he did anything.
Well,
As soon as they realized he wasn't going to help them out. I mean, they have a long history of taking guys who shouldn't be in the league.
and they also have a history, which we'll talk about again, that they do some pretty unsavory things themselves.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying
So-
they're saints.
No, those guys are in New Orleans.
They're New Orleans.
They're in New Orleans. Yeah.
All right, so then just a couple things. I actually wrote down a bunch here, but now that I think about it, a lot of these aren't really relevant. Let's see. Earl Thomas, a big-time safety, went from Seattle to Baltimore, had a good year. And then Jadeveon Clowney went from Houston to Seattle, two really good players. Notable retirements. Andrew Luck, probably one of the most promising quarterbacks of his age, was getting hurt a lot. I know we talked about this when it happened, but he ended up just saying, I'm just going to hang it up.
Yeah, surprise retirement.
Yeah.
Not like he was old.
Oh, yeah. The season was about to start. We're like, okay, here it comes.
Matter of
Andrew Luck's
fact,
coming back.
he was getting into his prime years, honestly.
Well, I don't think there's a single person out there who couldn't say that he wasn't destined to be great. 'Cause
Right.
He was already good. You know,
Right.
he just got hurt. That sucks. Rob Gronkowski, one of the most prolific tight ends that the league has ever seen. It's still up in the air whether he'll come back, but right now it's looking like he's done.
He really needs to let it go. He's been beat up
Yeah.
badly the last.
Both those guys have been just wrecked. And then Julius Peppers, a local favorite over here in Chicago, he's also retired.
And Carolina.
In Carolina, that's right. Let's see. And then if you want to bring up, I might bring it up next year again. If it gets repeated, it gets repeated. Eli Manning has already declared his retirement, so that puts the ending to the Manning
Saga. Yeah.
dynasty. I was gonna say, but yeah. Let's see. Notable.
So whose kid's going to be the next first rounder, his or Peyton's?
I suppose that just depends on who's the oldest.
Nah.
There's just no way that dynasty stops. The Mannings gotta keep going.
I don't know, but if I'm Peyton's kid, it's like, yeah, I got enough money.
Right.
I really don't need to play.
Right.
That whole family is pretty.
Yeah, they've got
well off.
generational wealth.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you had notable injuries. Ben Roethlisberger pretty much tanked the Steelers team for that season. They actually ended up doing all right for what happened, but with him would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
Then J.J. Watt. Big Ben actually had the Tommy John surgery, and then J.J. Watt had a torn pectoral. So big events. Kareem Hunt back. He was a running back. He had gotten some trouble with domestic violence in elevator. No, was that the elevator? No, that was Ray Rice, wasn't it?
Ray Rice was the elevator.
Ray Rice was the elevator.
Or
Kareem Hunt
he
was
one of those.
It was in a
elevator.
hotel or
It
something?
was in a hotel or something like that, yeah. So anyway, so he had this whole thing with getting into domestic violence with his girlfriend at the time, or wife, not sure. But he ended up coming back. The Browns signed him, and he did fairly well. So it looks like his career will be back on track.
After serving his suspension.
Yep. He had a suspension for the first 10 games of the season. It was a lot.
It's weird, though. I don't know what they're going to do with him.
So,
like if he's going to go to a different team,
maybe.
or
We'll see.
because they can't afford to pay both of them.
No. One of the biggest storylines of the entire season, an absolutely ludicrous event with a Browns player named Myles Garrett, who used his helmet to attack Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph.
He said he was sorry, though.
He did.
He did apologize.
But the thing is, if you're using your helmet to swing, that's a weapon,
Right?
And that's bad. That's like if you're just fighting with your fist, they get a slap on the wrist. But if you're using a weapon,
once again, Billy, that's bad.
Unless you're me, my fists are weapons.
That's right. Smasher, basher, thrasher.
Because Myles Garrett, he was a Cowboy for a long time, right?
Myles Garrett?
Yeah.
He's a kid. He was drafted in 2015.
Oh, okay. I thought he was on the Cowboys before.
You're thinking of Jason Garrett, the coach.
No.
Okay, well then I don't know.
Maybe I am.
But anyway, Myles Garrett, he hit him with his helmet, and it's possible that his career is over. A very promising young career. That was really bad.
But the NFL also realizes that it's the Browns and they must lose. So
I think everybody in Cleveland realizes they must lose.
Yeah, maybe
it is preordained.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess there is some talks coming. He's going to be meeting with the commissioner. I don't know. It's not looking good.
Good luck, brah.
Last thing for big events: Spygate 2.0. Patriots again caught potentially spying on another team,
Which got a lot less news than I thought it would have.
Thankfully, yeah, it was weird. So
Thankfully.
Anyway, the Patriots staff was spotted at a Bengals game where they were videotaping. Apparently, for some segment, they were videotaping the Bengals who they were playing the following week.
Right.
They were filming their coaching staff and how they were moving and talking and stuff.
Right.
So, give me a break, man.
Well, they never cheat. I mean, come on. This is so outlandish.
I mean, it is so bad. I don't know what they're doing, but anyway, continuing on. Records. A lot of good records were broken this one. Most of which sound the alarms. Lamar Jackson, my boy, in Baltimore. Most all-time rushing yards by a quarterback. Previously held by
Michael Vick.
That's correct. Michael Vick had 1,039 rushing yards, which is ludicrous for a quarterback. And then
says a lot for his passing game.
Then Lamar Jackson ended up going for 1,206, which is respectable for a running back. It's more than respectable.
Right.
That's a great season.
It's a good season, yeah.
So Drew Brees breaks the record. He is now the all-time in yardage and touchdowns, I think. 77,416 yards on his career and 547 touchdowns. And Tom Brady behind him, 74,571 and 541. So Brady's close. And if
I hope Breeze takes that, when it's all said and done.
Well, one of the biggest storylines right now in the NFL, and which would impact this greatly, is people are saying Tom Brady may not be back in New England.
Right.
And if he's not back in New England, who knows?
Right.
His
Anything
career
could
will
happen.
probably tank.
And what's Breeze's status?
As far as I know right now,
he's mulling.
He's not sure if he's coming back.
But is he a free agent or is he?
No, I believe he's under contract.
I don't think they'd ever let him go either.
You know what? Maybe he's not under contract, but I think they're pretty much saying that if he wants to come back, they'll sign him.
Right.
And yeah, at this point, I don't think Brady.
So if he comes back, he will go to New Orleans.
That's
and
my
if Brady
guess.
comes back, nobody knows.
Right.
If Brady comes back, it is still up in the air whether or not he's going to stay in New England. Because the thing is, Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback that's ever lived, had a not great season.
Yeah, but he's got 8 more years, right? Didn't he say?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's
just
playing until he's 74, so.
He's just going to mulch up a bunch of kale and mainline it, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Adrian Peterson becomes the 5th all-time rusher in yards. Frank Gore becomes the 3rd all-time rusher in yards. And probably one of the most significant records broken, well, not a record broken per se, but a prestigious club. Donnie, remember what that is? Do you remember what?
Something with Michael Thomas?
Actually, that one was good, but a prestigious club. Other people have done it, but very few people have. You have a guess? I know you know.
Oh, McCaffrey?
That's correct. So Christian McCaffrey, the running back for the Carolina Panthers, became only the 3rd player in NFL history to both rush for over 1,000 yards and receive.
Yeah.
which both of those are incredibly respectful on either
on their own.
on their own.
Right.
Who are the other two?
Probably
I didn't-
Damian Tomlinson, I'm pretty sure.
I